Okay, now we've got into the area just past the actual city sign for Katowice. I just want to show you what it's like to drive through Katowice on this motorway. This is Wieczorek. Kawukem means kopalnia węgla kamiennego. So these are bits of the mining equipment that's making stone coal. Wieczorek. So that's part of an old mine there. And of course Katowice is the central town of the mining region of Silesia, coal mine. The way that this particular road will go, no, this is fairly familiar really, this bit of the road, because I mean even I did much more time in Katowice than I did in Krakow, and also when I was working with my previous firm to this one, we had an office in Katowice, and I came down quite a bit, but so this is much more familiar, and I've been on it even fairly recently as well, even going down to Czech Republic, or even within the last 6 months I've driven on this road before. So it seems to, this part of it here seems pretty familiar, but I thought I'd like to share it with you a little bit. As well as just record the way it looks right now in 2013, 8th of April, for the simple reason that they changed the whole time. It didn't look like this when I first came down it. You can be fairly sure some buildings were here, and you could see the ones which were here better than you can now, for the simple reason that they didn't have those great big shields then. Well, there wasn't that much to shield behind it. So I'm in the direction of Wrocław, obviously from Krakow. This is motorway the whole way. Interesting pattern left by the aeroplanes trail up there. It was just like a tiny, in the distance it just like a tiny little whirlwind tail hanging down. Well, the funny thing is it still looks like a whirlwind's tail hanging down in the cloud. Whizzing round and round like that. I don't know if you can see that well. Right in front of me. It looked like a wisp just coming out of Krakow. But I'm still getting closer and closer to it. Funny thing is, it seems to be hanging over the road which I'm going down at the moment, which is strange to say the least. Focusing on that, didn't focus on certain other things, but basically we're going through that's pretty much past, actually. We've now pretty much passed the main part of Katowice. It's behind us now. That's Zurich, yeah, here we go, Zurich. I've done, a long time ago I did an audit for a couple of years running in that building for somebody in the mining supplies industry. Still interesting, isn't it, the way that it seems to be fading away, but it looks for all the world like a mini whirlwind was about to form. And what could it really be? The trail from an aeroplane? Probably not, in fact. But it was just like a wisp. You can probably remember seeing it in the sky as we came out of Krakow, but now it's big. The sun was right next to it at one point. Now the sun's gone down, of course. Within another half hour there won't be anything of the sun, which is a bit of a pity, because I do like it illuminating the path, but it can't do that 24 hours a day, that's for sure. So obviously I'm not going to actually go to Wrocław. It's going to be just a little bit further, to about as far as Gliwice, and then a change in course going down to Ostrawa, from Ostrawa down to Brno. Like I say, it's about 350, well, less than 350 kilometers, of which, well, 80's done. So I'm now on 417.8 since leaving the house and starting this film. Still not even 10% of the amazing journey, which will last 8 days. But I did a long day today, I think. I feel quite exhausted from it in a way. I probably will have to stop and have a bit of a snooze on top of everything else in a lay-by at some point, which will only make it later for me to get to Brno, which is not fantastic. 12 minutes past 7. As we get closer to Brno, I'll use my GPS to find the Katowice, which is the place where the hotel is that they've booked for me. I always had a desire to try Hotel Voronezh in Brno if I went to Brno, and I still haven't done that this time. Maybe it wasn't the most appropriate place to sleep, I don't know. But I still haven't been to Hotel Voronezh. It's one of the things I wanted to do, because I went to Hotel Brno when I lived in Voronezh a couple of times, and I thought, oh, one day I'll go to Brno and I'll stay in Hotel Voronezh, because there was the two places were twinned, Voronezh and Brno, back in communist times. And so one of the things in which they showed their twinningness was that they had a hotel, each had a hotel in the other city, named after the other city. One of the biggest, perhaps the biggest hotel, or the plushest hotel at that time. And obviously 30 years on, that's not necessarily going to be the plushest hotel right now, that's for sure. In Brno, certainly not. In Voronezh, I have no idea. I haven't been back there. So, yeah, anyway, I showed you what I was going to show you, and shortly it won't actually be possible to show you much more, because it's getting darker again, and that's not such a great sight. But you can see the old thing that looked like a forming whirlwind is really kind of dissipating completely, with very little left to show for it. There's a garage. That's probably a good thing to do right now, actually. Get some petrol, and maybe something more than petrol. Maybe a screen wash as well could go down a little bit well. Obviously I can't get my vignettes here, it's too far from the border, but I won't get to the border on that petrol.